If you're too scared of running five-man pass protection for fear of getting your quarterback hurt, or if you want to take your five-man pass pro to the next level, you need to watch this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make sure that the only way that the defense gets hands on your quarterback in five-man pass pro is if they send six. All right, this video, we're going to cover scat protection. Scat protection is denoted by a 1 or a 0 at the end of our 50, 60, 80, or 90 calls. So 1 would be to the left, 0 would be to the right. This is empty protection. Now that doesn't mean, as you can see here, that you have to be in empty. It just means that we only have 5 blockers for the quarterback. There's no running back or fullback inserting into the protection. This is a 5-man protection. Foundationally for the offensive line, it still fits up very, very similarly to jet protection as far as the offensive line having a man side and a zone side. But there are a few differences because we don't have that extra blocker coming from the backfield. The first difference is that the quarterback is hot a little bit differently. In jet protection, he was hot if we had 2 rushers to the call because we only had 1 extra blocker for them. In scat protection, we do not have that extra blocker, so he's hot if either of these rushers come. He is also hot on the backside because we don't have that wrap. We're not being able to sync. So if we have 2 rushers backside, we can only block one of them. Let's say we've got a 3-man slide. We can only block one of them. So if both of them come on the backside, then the quarterback will also be hot. Jet protection handles itself a little bit to where the quarterback doesn't need to know as much other than he's protected from C gap to C gap, and he's hot if we get 2 extra rushers to the front side. But scat protection, you really want the quarterback to understand a little bit more because he needs to know where he's hot, but he can also flip the protection with a flipper call. So normally with jet protection, we want our man side to the call and the slide side away from the call. But with scat protection, we want to make sure that we are getting the 5 most dangerous guys blocked. And if that means we need to have the man side backside and the zone side to the front side, then the quarterback can flip the protection. I mentioned it a little bit in the jet video, but because we have a different mindset with our scat protection, we do have 2 different calls for our line slides. A 3-man slide is going to be Liz if we're sliding to the left, and rip if we're sliding to the right. If we're getting a 4-man slide, it's going to be Lucky if we're going to the left, and Ricky if we're going to the right. So the reason that we need these different calls instead of using our jet protection calls is because that mind shift changes from blocking the widest rushers to the inside rushers. So I drew this little diagram up with our jet protection video. Normally, we would sync here, and we'd be trying to block these 3 with these 2. If all 3 of them came, we would be blocking the end and the jack, the backside down safety, whatever you want to call him, and then the running back would wrap back for the will. But because we're in scat protection here, we would change this to where we're blocking the end and the will, and then we're trying to get that down safety jack backside running all the way around because he's the farthest away, so hopefully the quarterback can get his hot throw off in time. So if we get a Liz call, then the left tackle and the left guard know that we're blocking inside out, versus if we were getting that lasso call for a 3-man slide, they should realize they're blocking outside in. So let's look at how we would block up the main fronts. We'll see. We can see we've got everybody out into a route. Even out of 2 back, 21 regular personnel, we are running empty protection. Now this is something that I like better with quick game because the hot throws are a little easier and we are getting the ball out quicker. All right, remember in the pass, we are looking for the 4 down plus the identified Mike is who we're blocking with the offensive line. If it's 3 down, we're getting the 3 down plus the Mike and the -1. So we want to ID the linebacker that we are sliding to. If we are in 0 here, we're sliding to the left. So we want to pick up the star backside. Our tackle would have the end. Right guard would have the 3, so we would get a Liz call for a 3-man slide to the left. Center would be picking up the nose. Guard would be pretty aggressive on the nose here since the mic that we've ID'd is pretty close, but they'd be working to him. Then the backside tackle would have the end. So a reminder of our hot reads, the quarterback would be hot if either of these guys come. So it takes 1 to the call, and it takes 2 away from the call. So it takes 1. It only takes one of these rushers to come for him to need to throw hot. On the backside, because we've got 3 blockers, it would take both the mic and the -1 coming in order for him to need to throw hot. So if you see their playbooks or in the playbook I've provided, you'll see that takes 1 or takes 2 to either side to show you where the quarterback is hot. Looking at a 4-4, we'd be IDing the backside linebacker. Right tackle has the end. Right guard has the 3. We've got a Liz call for a 3-man slide to the left, but now we've got more than we can block. We've got 4 with 3. So this is where instead of a sync call, we would make a dual call. Dual is similar to sync, except just like with the Liz call, it's reminding the offensive lineman we're working inside out versus outside in. So we're trying to handle these 4 with our slide side. Really, the center's going to have the nose, and we're trying to block these 3 with our guard and tackle. So they would both be settling back. Remember, if all 3 of them come, the jack is the one that we are going to turn loose because we want to get from inside out to give the quarterback as much time as possible. That jack has to run the farthest because we don't have that running back working back to the backside linebacker. So remember that it takes 2 backside. It only takes 1 front side. If either the money or the star there blitzes, then the quarterback needs to throw hot. All right, remember the stack breaks some rules as far as our mic ID goes because we've got the mic and the -1. So we're still IDing the middle linebacker versus the stack. We'll talk about how it changes when we get to the 3-4 after this. But the mic would be our ID. Then our offensive line is responsible for the 3 down, the mic, and the -1. But we're also presented with some other challenges. We've got the jack that we need to handle front side. So we would be making a front side dual call as well. So the tackle would have the jack, the guard would have the end, the center has the nose, and then we have another dual call backside where we're trying to get these 3 with these 2. So when you're in your scat protection and you've got 2 head-up 4s, you have a double bubble, a double B-gap bubble. You can call double dual. And when you get a double dual call, it doesn't really matter who the mic is because both sides are fanning out and the quarterback is going to be hot if either of those rushers come or if both of these rushers come. All right, looking at scat protection versus a 3-4 underfront. Remember, we are just primarily looking at 0 scat here, so we're looking to slide to the left and have our man side to the right. But we can't do that here. The center has a play side shade, so he needs to be able to take him. Remember, with scat protection, we don't have the option of making a fire call on the jack here because the running back or the fullback, neither of them are in protection. So we need to be able to block the 5 down with R5. So this is where the quarterback would want to make a flipper call. Very important that the quarterback knows the protection so he can make that call. If he doesn't make that call, we're going to miss somebody. The tackle has somebody in his gap. Then we'd have a 4-man slide to the left, but nobody would have the jack off the edge. So we make the flipper call here, and we want to slide to the right. We would also make a dual call here. The right tackle would expect to have the jack. The right guard would expect to have the end, but the dual call is going to protect us if the jack drops out into coverage and the money blitzes so that the right tackle could take the end and the right guard could take the money backer there so the quarterback can still make it through his progression. So we've got our dual call front side. The center has the nose man-to-man, and we would actually be able to make a dual call backside as well. So the tackle would have the end, The guard would have the tackle, but that would also help us if maybe this is a stand-up edge. This is a true 3-4 where we've got another stand-up outside linebacker. Same thing as on the front side. If he drops out into coverage and the Mike blitzes, we could still hopefully get that picked up. But primarily, our goal is to be able to block the 5 down. If all 5 of them come, we're okay. We should only be hot if we get a 6th rusher, primarily either inside linebacker. Ideally, if they only blitz 5, we can get them picked up. We've got a very similar situation here with the tight front because we do have 5 down. So this would be a scenario where we would want to 5-0 it, especially because the nose is head up. So the center has to have the nose man-to-man. We would also make a dual call here, so it would fit up very similarly to the underfront. The tackle would be looking for the star, guard would be looking for the 4-eye, backside guard would be looking for the 4-eye, backside tackle would be looking for the jack. But remember, because we have that dual call, basically we are solo on the nose. We're trying to take these 3 with these 2, and then we're also trying to take these 3 with these 2 backside. Hopefully, if they only blitz 5, we can get it picked up, and the quarterback can make a good throw to somebody who's open instead of throwing a hot throw to somebody who's not. If they run some sort of creeper against this formation specifically, it's not too hard to think that maybe the star drops out to play maybe curl to flat, then the money blitzes, and the Mikes play in the middle hole, and then you think you've got a hot throw to the Y coming over the middle, but the Mike's sitting right there. So we want to be able to block the 5 who blitz. So those dual calls are very important. Remember, with the dual call, we are looking to block inside out. That's why we're not calling sink, because we're looking to block inside out. They're the most dangerous. So one of the keys is slow to go. You'll see that in their playbooks. You'll see it in mine. Slow to go means we're looking to block the first level first, which is why we'd be looking for the jack first or the star first with the tackle instead of the backers, because slow to go means we're looking to block the first level first. Go means the faster players, which are generally in the second level, faster than the first level. But if maybe these slow players drop out and then the go players blitz, we can hopefully get them picked up. So let me know in the comments down below if you run 5-man pass protection, if you might want to run this sort version of it, and if you got anything you can take away from this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more. Now this video is actually listed as a free video in my CoachTube course about how I adapted the Shanahan-McVay offense to better fit the high school level. And if you want to know more about that, whether it's pass protections or the system in general, you can find the link down to my course in the description below.